Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now today's video is going to be a selection of highlight clips from the past few days, and I have some trophies that I am really excited to share with you guys. Starting off here with looking at some harlequin ducks on Yukon Valley. Now, it's going to be quite hard for you guys to see at this point, but I was fairly sure that one of these ducks, the one that I'm spotting there, that level 2 male with the 6 to 7 estimate, was a melanistic. Now, I had heard that melanistic harlequin ducks were a thing, but I had never seen one. However, when I saw this male and he had absolutely no white markings on him at all, I was pretty confident that that's what this had to be. And with that 6 to 7 estimate, there was a chance that this thing could be a level 2 diamond. And just as I spotted it, through the Argus scope, actually going amongst the other ducks, there was no mistaking that that is a melanistic. Now, I checked the range to make sure that I was going to be on for this shot because the last thing I wanted to do was miss it and spook it off the water and never see this duck again. Because I never had seen a melanistic harlequin before, and that's why I was at this point semi-questioning myself, but I was just going, there's no way that there's anything else that can be. And as I shot it, I saw that that definitely 100% was a melanistic. There was nothing else going on there. I wasn't mistaken. And as it floated in, you can see that that is just a completely jet black harlequin. Now, these guys are really rare because you won't always notice them amongst the flock. You can see that I actually had to look really closely to spot this guy. And he ended up scoring 7.10. And he actually had a low trophy rating for the weight because the weight of 0.72 kilos is enough to have made this a level 2 diamond. But unfortunately, I got smoked by the low trophy rating and he just fell 0.1 shy of being a diamond melanistic level 2. If he had been 7.2 instead of 7.1, he would have been a melanistic diamond. So literally just the smallest amount, and he would have been, a level 2 diamond melanistic, which would have been amazing. However, it is my first melanistic harlequin, and for it to be a really big male is something that is awesome, and I'm really pleased to add this guy to the trophy lodge. Now, over on Silver Ridge Peaks, you may have just caught a very slight glimpse there, just as I hit record, of not one, but two rare turkeys right next to each other. I was actually at this location hoping to see a melanistic mountain goat, but what I was greeted with was two huge flocks of turkeys that were feeding side by side, and not one but two rares amongst them. Now, I was hoping that these weren't going to be light brown. I was hoping for albino or leucistic, and they looked really white even from that distance. But as I crested this little bit of a hill and spotted them, I could tell that they were 100% going to be either albino or leucistic. I didn't get a massively quick look, but they looked really albino to me, so I quickly smoked the male because I wanted to get the male more than anything, and then I took a couple of shots at the female, but unfortunately I missed and then hit other turkeys that were getting in the way. But I saw her flying off and I spotted her. I popped a couple of shots at it, just hoping that maybe one might connect. However, I tried to keep her spotted for as long as possible so I knew exactly which direction that she had gone in, because I have successfully tracked a diamond turkey before when it has flown off, so I was hopeful that would be. And picking up her disturbed veg as I walked over to this male, it said that she was albino, and this was also 100% an albino male, seeing him on the ground, pure white feathers. So not only did I get this one male albino turkey, there was also an albino female with him. So a perfect pair of albinos just side by side, which is something you don't see a lot, but I have seen these big groups of turkeys like this before, with maybe like a couple of light brown hens or something. But I actually didn't have any albino turkeys in the trophy lodge. I had leucistic and light brown, but I really wanted to get an albino, and then sure enough, I don't just get one, I get two. But I followed the tracks of this female, and after not very long, spotted her flying background up the hill towards me. And I have to admit that I completely rushed these shots here, and that's why I missed this first shot that you're going to see. But I'm very glad to say that my second shot did just clip her before she took off, and she wasn't going to go very far with a 22 round in her, and you can see she just fell out of the sky there. So that was the second albino turkey from that little group down. And that is just so cool. I knew that I was going to have this male and female together in a multi-mount, because you just have to when there's certain situations like that. The multi-mounts, if you can put them together, you kind of just have to. But yeah, you can see I didn't have to track her very far at all. They really didn't go that far. I guess they were on their way back when I actually spooked her and she flew over the top of me. But how cool is that to get not just one but two albinos in the same flock? And it's just not something you see every day. And this next animal has a little bit of a story with it as well. I was here on Rancho del Arroyo on multiplayer, looking and hoping mainly for rares of the various different species on Rancho. I always come to this location specifically to look for pheasants and antelope jackrabbit, and what I found was a level 3 molting feather type pheasant. And normally what you do with any pheasant that you want to shoot is you run at it, they'll go defensive, and then they'll run into some brush to hide. You then run at that brush, and basically you can then wait for them to flush from wherever they've been hiding. However, this level 3 did something that no other pheasant I have hunted has done, and immediately went into a fleeing state and just took off. This got my heart absolutely pounding, because this is multiplayer, the same as the previous two clips, where, you know, with the turkeys, the two albinos together, and the harlequin duck, everything that you want when it's in multiplayer is you just don't want an animal to just flee like that. But what happened was I tried tracking him, and his tracks were just so inconsistent, because they are, of course, flying, and it seems to happen that they leave a lot less consistent tracks. However, the host did leave, and that was a saving grace, because I did get a feed zone from this pheasant. So that meant that I could change the time back, go away, and when I came back eventually, after several time resets, he finally was in his feed zone. And this is a molting pheasant as well, which is a pretty highly coveted diamond amongst the diamond pheasants, it would seem. There is the few common varieties. Basically, you have the common, and then grey and molting are slightly less common of the technical common feather types, if that makes sense. But I decided, because this one was being just the most difficult pheasant I've ever had to hunt, that what I would do was actually crawl towards him until I got close enough that I felt that if he took off I could take him with the shotgun. So I have trimmed some of that out, because otherwise you guys would be watching me crawling along the ground for a couple of minutes. But you can see there I'm getting closer and closer to him on the ground, and he is still calm. Now, I really, really didn't want this guy to spook off again, because at this point I had been chasing this pheasant around for about an hour, and looking at his score estimate, there was no guarantee he would make it. Now, with pheasants and rabbits and ducks, almost all level 3s make diamond, but I am one of the unfortunate people that has had a troll level 3 duck, so whenever something is a level 3, I never take it as a guarantee, and with that 18 to 21 estimate, it's far from a guarantee. But you can see how close I got there, and then he went to fleeing again. So I quickly got the shotgun out and started to chase him, and this time, of course, he decided he was going to run along the ground, a bit more like what they normally do. This gave me plenty of time to actually catch up to him, and the first shot I completely missed. Second shot I completely missed, but the third shot I was fairly sure I saw that he got hit there, maybe with just one pellet, and so I quickly picked up his tracks, and I couldn't tell if he'd been hit, and then I saw a small little patch of blood. And that was such a relief just to know that I had got a hit on this bird, after so long of tracking him. Because I was so close to a lodge, I opted to go and get my tracking dog, Hubert, because the tracks had just been so inconsistent, and I knew that with only that low bleed rate, he was going to go quite a way. And thankfully, my dog managed to find him. And thank goodness he did, and that I did go and get the dog, because there was like a couple of 100 meters where the tracks were just all over the place for this bird. But upon picking him up, he did make diamond at 20.30, a molting feather type diamond pheasant. And you can see there, just from this little bit of tracking him, it was 1.7 kilometers, which is crazy when you're tracking something this small. I just honestly, I don't know how long I did actually track him for in total, but it must have been well over an hour of just trying to get this pheasant to fly in a place where I could actually get it. And thankfully, that one pellet hit it. It was such a poor shot, but I honestly didn't care at this point. I was just so happy to have my second diamond pheasant and for it to actually have been one of the other feather types. So the only more common feather type diamond I am missing now for the pheasants is actually the grey, which is perhaps my favourite one of the three, sort of more common ones, like not the rares, if that makes sense. So yeah, really, really hoping that I can get one of those. I then ended up on a Parque Fernando server, and I found something that I have been looking for pretty much since I got this PC account. And it's an animal that used to be very common and I had tons of, but since the water buffalo got their true racks, they've become a lot less common. And that is an albino water buffalo. Now, this animal again has a story with it. I spotted her initially fleeing. I went to chase her, picked up her tracks, got attacked by a male, got sent back to the lodge, and then unfortunately my game crashed. Now, again, this is multiplayer. You can very easily lose stuff when your game crashes like that. I ended up managing to find the server that I had crashed from, and going back into that server, I managed to find the water buffalo cow again and managed to get a lung shot on her. I took that shot, it was completely risky, but I just wanted to hit her in some way, shape, or form and try and get her down. But I really do like the albino water buffalo. I think they're a really cool looking rare. And yeah, just a nice big animal rare. The big animal rares like the moose and the buffalo always look really, really good. Unfortunately, she is a female. I would have been really nice to get a decent sized male, but she doesn't look half bad. Those horns aren't awful looking. So yeah, she's definitely going in the trophy lodge until maybe I get a male, and then she'll end up in a secondary lodge. But for now, I'm really, really happy just to have one again. Once again on a Rancho del Arroyo multiplayer server, I decided to look around to see if I could find any rare peccaries. And I actually did find a rare. It is another level 3 leucistic, just like the one I got off of my own map. And hunting these guys at night, unfortunately, it is a bit of a harder view for you guys, but I had to include it because the rare peccary are very rare. I look over a lot of peccaries, and I have only had the two leucistic level 3 males. However, when I spotted that this was a male, I knew exactly where he was going to go in the trophy lodge, and that was into the Hot Javelinas multi-mount with my other leucistic in place of the diamond one, because how cool is it to have two leucistic males fighting? And I really do like the leucistic peccaries, they're really pretty. And yeah, just to have two level 3s actually for that multi-mount is really cool. They're such a unique looking rare. They're not the same as like any other leucistic in the game. They're not just plain white. They have all these different colours to them. And I really, really like them. I would like to find an albino peccary, and that is what I'm hoping for, but I will definitely take a leucistic level 3 to go in that mount. Okay, and now we start on the Medved tiger portion of this video. Oh my gosh, my Medved luck has been insane the past few days. And we're going to start off with the first animal that kind of kicked everything off and made me wanting to keep coming back to Medved. I was out here on the ice looking for a legendary brown bear, hoping to finally tick off the achievement of having every diamond in the game. And I had just not found anything. The server was so empty. And then I spotted a level 3 musk deer. Now, I've shot diamond musk deer before, but I did not have one on my PC account, and spotting a level 3 was so exciting. I've only ever seen like two other diamond musk deer in my whole time playing, so I was just really excited, but all of the bears were just like level 7s, level 6. This had been the only good thing I had found in the entire server. So I made sure that I was going to run to within about 150-ish meters or less, and then I would take him with the 243. Now, again, with that estimate, it's not a guarantee that he would make diamond, and these guys are pretty good at trolling from what I've seen, but I managed to drop him there with the 243, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And you can see there, Vital Blood. And these guys really do have impressive tusks when they're big. I mean, just look at those. That is a huge looking musketeer. And he did make diamond at 262.40, which is a monster diamond musketeer. And I really like the musketeer diamonds. I think they're really impressive when you actually look at them. They might not be as obviously impressive as something like a red deer, but when you actually take the time to admire those tusks, they're pretty huge canines. And yeah, a monster diamond at 262.40 when 249 is diamond. So definitely one I am really, really pleased to have gotten. And now moving on to one of my two favourite clips this entire video, and one of my favourite animals ever that I've taken in Call of the Wild. I spotted a particularly pale looking level 1 female brown bear, and I always check the disturbed vegetation of any that look particularly pale, just to make sure they're not an albino. And when I walked over there and picked up some disturbed vegetation, what did I pick up? Albino. And the funny thing is, I was chasing this bear fully convinced that it was the level 1 that I had initially thought was quite pale. But when I had spotted that one, at the same time, I spotted a level 5 female brown bear with her. And as I spotted this animal again as she was running here through the woods, I noticed it was the level 5 and not the level 1 that was an albino, which is one of the craziest things I've ever found in this entire game. Albino brown bear are extremely rare. This is probably the rarest rare I have ever seen. And you just never hear of them being shot. They're just so rare. And I waited until she gave me that shot because I wanted to make sure I got the full score out of her being a level 5, which is a decent size. And I actually managed to drop her there with a heart shot from the 300. And my heart was racing because, again, this was on multiplayer. I was looking for a legendary bear and I found an albino, which is crazy, and I couldn't be more happy. I know that it may have been better to a lot of people to have gotten a male. However, the fact that she was a female and a level 5, which is like really a good size female, is just all the cooler for me. And looking at her, I could see the obvious difference between this one and a blonde. There was just so much like more pale and just different looking about it. So I took a quick screenshot and then decided where I could get the best trophy shot. And as you can see, a level 5 female albino brown bear. I cannot believe I have one of these animals in my trophy lodge now. This is one of the ultimate rares you can get in this game. They are so incredibly rare. Normally, most people will only see an albino brown bear within the mission at the end of Medved Tiger, where you can get the level 9 albino that's wounded in the cave. But to get one in sort of the free roam, sort of free play aspect of it, where they just can spawn, is insane. I have never seen one, and I only know of like 2 or 3 other people that I know that have ever seen one or shot one. They are so rare. And I just can't believe it. And I was so scared that my game was going to crash the whole time I was tracking it. Because if my game crashed on this, it would have been heartbreaking. This is honestly just the coolest thing. To have one and have it for the lodge, it's just amazing. And I also noticed that even the bottoms of its feet are pink, like proper full albino. It's just amazing. I then, on the same server, decided I was going to go and hunt wild boar, and after a very brief look around, I spotted a level 5. And he didn't actually present a shot to me when I initially spotted him, and he ended up going up through some vegetation, so I chased him back out onto the ice, as you can see here. But this is, again, the first level 5 wild boar I've seen on PC. I think the last level 5 I saw was, again, on Xbox, and I think that was on Medved. I know my first level 5 wild boar was on Medved, and I chased it for several hours as it glitched around the map. But to see one again was so exciting. And again, in the same server, the whole server before finding that albino brown bear was just dead. It was all like level 3 reindeer, level 4 male brown bear, and level 1 musk deer. It was so boring, and I almost left. and then I get an albino brown bear and a level 5 wild boar. Now, again, this guy didn't have an estimate that was guaranteed to make diamond, and I actually thought he was going to troll. He had decent looking tusks, but I thought he was going to troll. And then he made diamond just at 144.50 when 144.20 is diamond. I took that walking shot because, again, I just didn't want to lose something to a crash because I was server host at this point. So yeah, amazing. I'm so happy to have another diamond wild boar. And now, the final animal of this video. Once again on Medved Tiger multiplayer, I was once again out on the ice looking and hoping to spot a level 9 bear. And something made me turn around, and I spotted this bear standing on its hind legs that just seemed a bit further away than I would have expected one to be alert. And I quickly hit record because he was a legendary. This is the first legendary brown bear I have ever seen outside of the missions, and I couldn't believe it. I have had such awful brown bear luck my entire time playing this game, and then to get an albino and a legendary in the same day is absolutely crazy. And I started panicking as soon as I saw that he was fleeing. So I tried to get around as best I could, and I was firing 22 to try and get him to go alert just so that he wouldn't run off. Because again, multiplayer, I can crash, I can be kicked, anything can go wrong, and it's very time pressured. So again, I saw him there, he was nervous, and again, I was just hitting every tree with that 22 there. But I managed to get him to go alert, which is exactly what I wanted, so that I could try and get him to stand up on his hind legs, preferably facing me and not turn away, because I didn't want to get some kind of weird spine shot on the first legendary I've ever seen. So I was being really ultra cautious with this shot, because sometimes when bears stand on their hind legs like that and they're facing away, I might have risked that shot, but I just didn't want to risk it on the first one I've ever seen. Just looking at it and seeing that 9 legendary on the screen is so exciting. My heart was racing. So twice in one day I'd seen these brown bears that had got my heart racing. And as soon as he stood up facing me, I took that shot. Now, I felt that I kind of either lost breath or something happened as I took that shot that kind of made the shot go up a bit higher than I thought. But as I walked over to him, I could see the vital blood, and I calmed down and I was like, okay, so I can't have messed it up. This is gonna either make it on the trophy rating or not make it on the trophy rating. And he did make diamond at 27.70. And with that, I have now shot every single animal in the game as a diamond, either on Xbox or PC. And I cannot be more pleased to say that I have done that now. It's been a long time coming trying to get every single animal as a diamond and complete that goal. And he's a cinnamon, so he looks great opposite my max score legendary diamond cinnamon black bear. They look so cool next to each other in the lodge. I'm so ecstatic. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's definitely one that I've been looking forward to putting out. Definitely some really special trophies in here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys again soon.